Uh, obviously, you know, we've won 3 out of 4 for 3 and 3/4 of the last 4 games. We've played really well. Um, you know, tough loss to South Alabama, where we didn't do a great job in the last 7, 8 minutes of the game. But we've got to try to build on what we've done for you know the majority of the last 4 games heading into Louisiana, which is a really tough opponent. They do a really good job forcing turnovers and super aggressive and active. They're second in the league in forcing turnovers, first in the league in fouling, fourth in the league in 2-point field goal percentage defense, but they're last in the league in 3-point field goal percentage defense. So trying to turn all of our focus and prep into them and move past South Al.
Coach, before we move past South Alabama, you had said at the press conference that emotional decisions and panic decisions cost you the game. How do you coach against that?
Try to educate, right? Emotional people, whether it's in business, life, sports, relationships, make poor decisions because they're not making decisions based off data, information, thinking through possibilities. They're just reacting emotionally. And so we try to educate, you try to create environments to improve in that. But I mean, it's not easy to create the environment that you're in when you're up 18 against the number one team in the league in a pressure filled environment. But I mean, it's as much about educating what life is, right? Like people all the time make emotional decisions within a marriage, they make an emotional decision within business, and usually, but not always, emotional decisions end up being poor decisions. And so we're trying to teach our young men that, there's a difference in playing with passion versus playing with emotion. And, we want to play with passion. We don't want to play with emotion. Emotion clouds judgment.
So, kind of to follow up on that, when you do suffer, a bit of a heartbreaking loss like that, do you address the emotion of it first or the tactical errors of it first?
Well, the emotion leads to the tactical error. So, I mean, the issue is the emotional errors, not necessarily the tactical errors, because the emotional errors led to the tactical errors. So, uh, we address the emotional. It's like you're in a sense to where obviously you're winning the game. You have a turnover, which every team turns the ball over. They force the most turnovers in the league. Okay, we'd gone a really good length of the game of not turning the ball over, but we have one. So how do you emotionally react to that? Do you move forward and be like, all right, we had a turnover. Great, we're still up 16. Let's move forward. Or is it now, are you playing cautious like, oh no, we turned the ball over. Now I'm going to turn the ball over again, and you're letting one poor decision, lead to another poor decision because you're not your focus is on the past, not the present, and which leads to the outcome of the future. And if you're focused on the past, that's going to dictate the outcome of the future compared to the present. So 100% the emotional over the tactical, because that's what led to the tactical failures.
The South Alabama game kind of reminded me a little bit of the Rice game, but I remembered when that happened, you guys won 5 of the last 6, I think. Is this kind of a scenario where you maybe go back to past lessons kind of learned from that Rice game to maybe help you guys obviously on the mental side of things?
Well, I mean, the Rice game is a little bit different, because against South Alabama, you're up 4 with whatever 7 seconds left, and you're in position to still win the game, right? Like your goal of getting an 18-point lead is so that you can withstand a comeback, which in theory we withstand the comeback up until 6 or 7 seconds, where we're up 4, they have the ball, don't foul, and you're highly probable to win the game. The Rice game is a little bit different because you have the lead, but then they took the lead, you know, down the situation late. So it's not like you withstained it. So it's a little bit different. Um, and the circumstances are a little bit different, but you definitely want to look back on that and It's like you just the value of learning of like don't make emotional decisions. Someone cuts you off when you're driving, don't follow that up with an emotional decision. The outcome isn't going to be good. And so it's more so just trying to get them to understand like things are going to happen. We are going to turn the ball over as every team turns the ball over against them. The issue is when you let it one mistake compound to the next.
So is there anything that you can take from the South Alabama game that you can take with you to Lafayette? Is that the mindset?
Yeah,
Let's play with
100%.
passion but not emotion.
Yeah, I mean that's the goal because here's the reality. Like we obviously want to do a really good job not turning the ball over against Lafayette, but they're second in the league in forcing turnovers. You're not going to finish the game with no turnovers against them. It's impossible. The goal is instead of turning the ball over 6 out of 7 possessions, that we turn the ball over, once out of 12 possessions. And that turnover is going to happen. Great. You have to be able to learn from that mistake within the moment and not make the same one and focus on what's next, not let that, cloud your judgment. So 100%, because the reality is we can, you know, play very well and maybe we're up and they turn up the pressure and the heat and the physicality. We have to be able to withstand that.
Coach, I think it's this week and obviously next week, 4 games left, but this is probably as wide open as the conference has been in a long, very, very long time. I mean, how obviously with everything that happened last time out, but you guys have a chance to go on a run and obviously get a good seed. I know that is that something that's kind of entered in y'all's equation?
100%. I mean, we showed where all the teams are that are whatever, a game ahead of us and a game behind us, and a lot of them have to play each other. It's like we can focus on controlling our destiny. We need to focus on Lafayette, not on South Al, not on Monroe. Let's focus on Lafayette, and we can control our own destiny. And I mean, obviously, I went back and looked. I mean, I don't know if the league has ever been this like the parity within the league. I mean, it's like there's one team that's really got a poor record within the league. Everyone else is at least won 6 games, which is impressive. It's crazy.
You talked about Louisiana defensively. How much Kelvin Sampson stuff do you see with what they do?
The base of what they do is 100% from Houston. The way that they're going to defend pick and rolls is the physicality, the rotations that they play with. Now they do some stuff Houston doesn't do. They'll kind of 2-2-1, run and jump you. But they're switching the way that they impact the pick and roll. Their system behind the way that they impact the pick and roll is 100%, what they did at Houston. And they force turnovers the way they did at Houston. They foul more than what they did at Houston because those guys, obviously, the guys at Houston have been in Coach Sampson's system for years, and for Coach White, these guys are in their first year, so they're still learning the discipline it takes to play with that type of physicality and not foul. But 100%, yeah, he's doing a really good job. The team's getting better and better.
Any more questions?